Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain here on Capnclyde's MTGs, and we've got some leaks from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. That's right, boys and girls. Trade tables and seat backs should fill up right position as we get to take a little sneak peek at some of the greatness or overpoweredness of some of the cards that we are going to start seeing coming out in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. And let's be honest. Let's start putting in the comments down below what you think from what you're seeing because I think it's going to be a mixed bag. I've seen some good stuff, seen some bad stuff, I've seen some what the heck stuff. Yeah. So, before we get started, guys, remember like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can get to all the videos up front. And if you've already done that and you can't tell you if you got no more friends left to tell about the channel, in the description is a link to the eBay page where all the box opening video cards go up for sale so that you can get your cards pack fresh from me to you. And heck, what better way is it? Not only that, but you get to watch pack openings without having to spend the money. So, without further ado, let's take a quick look through some of the spoilers that have come out and give you a brief take on what I think about the cards. So, here we go, boys and girls. Hold on to your britches. So, first one here is Saraki Kakada da Flama Fama. Anyway, it's called Discharge of Flame. So, basically, it's an instant for red and X, so it's basically an instant fireball. Now, the catch to this is it says it deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. Now, X is equal to what you pay X for, plus you get 2 extra damage if you have a modified creature. So this is a really interesting concept of calling a creature modified, which it shows here. A modified creature is one that's equipped, enchanted, or having counters on them are considered modified. So, with that said, equipment is easy to say it's going to be Kamigawa. Matter of fact, I would not be surprised if we don't see some form of Jete or Jite or whatever you want to call it, because Umazawa has already been shown, and we'll probably get to him a little later. But anyway, but also enchanted counters like this is going to be easy to get. So for 1 red, it's basically an instant shock. That for 2 becomes 3. That for 3 becomes 4. Um, or no, yeah, 3 becomes 3 mana. Does 4? Yeah, 4 damage for 3 mana. So I don't think it's going to have a real big impact. I mean, it's a little more utilitarian than shock, but the problem with this is you notice it says creature or planeswalker. You can't hit players with it, so I don't think it's going to have a big impact. Now, when it comes to things like, you know, sealed or draft and those kind of formats, I think this is probably going to be a powerhouse because it's a removal spell that can be big enough to kill anything and still kill small stuff early game. So I think all in all, it's going to be a great card, just not really for anything that's going to be constructed format wise. So moving on, next we have. All right, so a lot of people's talked about this, the Kami War. So this is another saga. So obviously it's gonna be one of many. You can see it's a mythic down here, right here. So it's one of every color and one, so 6 mana. So it's gonna be really hard to get mana for it. Now with that said, don't forget we have the World Tree legal in the standard, which means once you get to 6 land, all your lands tap for any color, i.e., you could easily play Kami War. But anyway, so I think this is going to see something that we'll probably see play to some degree. It may not be all that big, but when you start looking at what it does saga-wise, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls. I mean, 6 mana, it's a bit much, but Elspeth was only 5, and it had limitations of what it could target. This exiles anything for 2 more. So, and then on 2, it says return up to 1 other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, then each opponent discards a card. So it's already got 2 ways to deal with 2 permanents, back to back for 6 mana, which is not something that Elspeth Conquers Death did. And then for number 3, he says you exile it and put it back on the battlefield transformed as a 6/6. And I don't have the 6/6 version of this, unfortunately. I found the picture, then I lost it because I forgot where I found it at. I'm a professional. Anyway, but basically it's a 6/6. When it swings, The opponent picks a card in your graveyard. It goes back to your hand. I'm trying to think of exactly what it says. When you put that card in your hand, Kami gets plus X plus O equal to the card's casting cost, basically mana value, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, even without that, just the ability to get a 6/6 for 6, and I'm pretty sure it flies. After you get to exile a permanent and then make them pick up and discard a permanent. Like, this just seems amazing. Also, you'll notice right down here, this does not say legendary. Now, without having the actual Kami card, Kami might be legendary, but honestly, who cares? You get two of these going at a time. Like, what are they going to do? Let you keep one Kami for 3 turns and punch him in the face for 18 and maybe kill him? While your other one's going off, yeah, that's not going to happen. They're going to kill the one that's already out and then try to figure out how to kill the second one that's out. So I think this has a lot of potential. Um, Commander players out there, hear you salivating from here. Uh, yeah, this is definitely going to be a card worth at least $5 or more. So, and people are going to play around it. They're just going to build commander decks and everything about it. So, moving on here, we have Satorio Umazawa. So it's part of the Umazawa clan. He is a black, blue, and a colorless for 2/4. Not terrible. He's a legendary human ninja wizard. Anyway, ninjas like wizards, oriental style. Anyhow, he's a rare. It says whenever you activate an ninjutsu ability, you look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. It's kind of like a small impulse. It only triggers once every turn, once each turn. So, not great. But each creature card in your hand also has an ninjutsu of 4. So for 4 mana, you can ninjutsu something in, um, and then basically brainstorm. It's basically a better brainstorm because you look at the top 3, take the one you want, put 2 on the bottom, and just start milling through your deck like a madman. I think in standard, this is going to probably see a lot of play in some way, shape, or form, and commander players are going to love this thing. I can really see Ninjutsu decks coming back with a vengeance in this. They're already a little popular in Commander from what I've seen, and with a whole new Kamigawa set coming out with all these new Ninjutsu abilities plus stuff like this, I mean, just wow. So, yeah, I like it. Do I think it's going to have a big impact on Standard and so forth? We're going to have to wait and see what other Ninjutsu abilities we have come out and other support cards. Um, but just as a normal powerhouse, I think it's easily a $5 card. Moving right along, next, this is really hard to see, but it's a rare land cycle. So we have a legendary land. I think we're going to have a legendary land cycle from everything. This is Iganjo, the Seat of the Empire. It's a legendary land. It comes into play. It doesn't come into play tapped, so it's already a great ability. So it's basically an extra planes. You just can't fetch it for planes. The cool thing is, if you draw extra ones, instead of them being stuck in your hand, it has the ability called Channel. Now, for this one, it says Channel is a white and 2 colorless. You get to discard this card, and it deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. It costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. This is another great utility land, especially in things like mono white or white weenie, where you want land but you need removal as well, and these function as both. Going into more cards that have these utility abilities is going to be really cool in making sure that when people actually play their decks, they win because they're good, not necessarily because their cards are just overpowered. Like, you got to have the right utility lands, the right utility cards, know when to use them for what, so forth and so on. So I really like this, and I like Channel Cycle. Uh, as long as Channel doesn't get too out of control and get put on too many good cards, like on a land cycle, it's legendary, I'm good with that. I don't want to see Channel on anything other than that, though, because it's going to get really out of hand. Because sometimes too much to do with your cards can really take away because it becomes too abusive, and everything becomes too easy. Anyway, so I like it a lot. I love this card. I hope all the land cycles there's one for every color like this. I think it'll be really sweet. Next, moving on here, we have, so this is a legendary creature, which is a dragon spirit. God, this is really hard to read. I'm sorry about that. Kawada, the soul of Kamigawa, maybe? But anyway, so this is a 3/3 for 4, so white and 3. It looks like I'm up there. I see flash flying, 3/3 flyer. So for 4, that's not terrible, especially for standard. When it enters the battlefield, another target permanent gains indestructible for as long as you control Koidia. So that's a cool effect as well. One of every color. Every color, he gets +5/+5 to end of turn. That makes him an 8/8. That's insane. The other side here, This looks like a legendary land. Uh, Takanumiya, the Abandoned Mire. It's the black land. I can see where it says channel. It looks like channel for black and maybe 3 if I squint really hard. It's hard to read this. He says you get to discard the Abandoned Mire, mill 3 cards, then return a creature. So I'm assuming you mill yourself, or return a creature or planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand, and it costs 1 less for each legendary creature you control. So again, part of the legendary land cycle, which seems really sweet, 1 of every color. I'll imagine a blue will probably be a bounce spell, red will probably be direct damage, and green will probably be giant growth, maybe, or maybe get something back from the graveyard because of regrow. Anyway, really excited about these cards. Sorry the pictures suck, but obviously we're not at real spoiler season, so when we see these during the spoiler season, I probably will glance over them as we go back through them. So, sweet cards there, like them a lot. Next here we have Iganjo Uprising. So this is very interesting. So sorcery, it's a white, red, and X, and it says you create X 2/2 white samurai creature tokens with vigilance. They gain menace and haste in a turn. Your opponent creates X -1. So basically, what it's saying is, um, if you get 7, your opponent gets 6. Now, here's the problem with this card. I don't think it should have been made. It's very powerful. Thank God it's white red, because if this had blue in it, it'd just be it. If this had blue in it, I would just hate life. Anyway, because here's the problem, guys. Like, yes, everybody's the same number of creatures. You get 1 more. It's a sorcery, but your creatures have haste, plus they have menace. So if you make, let's just be nice here. Let's say you make 6, so they get 5. That means they can only block 2 of your 6 creatures because they have 5. It takes 2 creatures to block 1 of yours. So out of that 6 you swing with, 4 is going to get through for 12 damage, and that's on turn, you know, 8. If you drop a land every turn, this could easily kill somebody in 1 swing because your creatures get menace. Like if they can't stop you from killing them because of this card, they will automatically win. So I can see why they think this is okay. But you have menace with your guys. Their guys have. I'm sorry, not menace. You have menace and vigilance. Their guys just have vigilance. So even if you swing and you kill some of their guys when they swing back, your guys aren't tapped, so you're gonna live. So this really isn't fixed by both sides getting creatures. It's really just what this is going to end up being, guys. It's going to be a creature fireball where you're like, all right, it's turn 12 and I have 12 mana, so I'm going to make 10 2/2s, so that's 20 damage. And because of that, you get 1 less, which is 9 2/2s. Well, guess what? Only 4 of those are going to block, and they're going to block 4 of my 10, which means you're going to take 12. And if I've done a couple pieces of damage to you in between there, you're just gonna die. Like this might even be worse because of red white weenie. Like I just think this is gonna be a bad card. Now with that said, I think it's gonna be great for Commander and other things doing weird shenanigans like that, where on like turn 4 you got 14 mana and you be like raw Giganjo's Uprising, kill the table. So it is rather entertaining. Anyway, so yeah, do I think it's powerful? Do I think it's pretty sweet? Yeah. Do I think we really needed something like this? I think this is going to be one of those cards that may cause a break in standard depending on what other cards come out in the set. I'm just really wary of this card. Um, yeah, because I mean, even if you have, I mean, you can say all you want, like even, well, Meathook Massacre would just kill them all for 4 mana. Well, they got haste. They're gonna hit you first. You're gonna die. So that's my issue with it. There's so many things not right about this that's abusive that I'm not sure they really thought this one through. So I'm gonna say this card's easily gonna be $10, especially if someone figures out a way to break it in standard. Like this thing's gonna be through the roof. Now in other sets other than Commander, nobody's gonna play this thing because it just takes too much mana. There's no way to cheat it in to get you a big thing. So that's probably where that's gonna stand. Moving on for the last one, I believe, and that was it. So Iganjo, as I talked about, is going to be the card that's really going to set the mood for the set. I think that's just. I hope there's not more cards like that. It seems very powerful. Last thing we need is a standard that's just out of hand again. Now, with that said, who knows, right? So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Until next time, remember to be kind. And until next time, I hope to see you at the pre release across from the game table.